to a very special edition of Truth to Power. I think I say that all the time, a very special edition, but it seems like it gets better and better every time I, see the people that are sitting alongside me, as well as the people in the green room waiting to come on the show. But you're watching a very special edition of Truth to Power. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin, and we're pretty much like into the beginning of this new year, 2026. And we know we've gone through a lot so far this year. A lot of things have happened. Some things that happened in Venezuela. Even some things that happened at the Ford plant a couple days ago. So we've had a lot of things that have gone on. I guess 2026 is going to be just as, I want to say, enlightening as what 2025 was. But one of the other things that puts joy and smiles in a lot of our faces is that we here in Detroit have an opportunity to witness the inauguration of a new mayor after 12 years of, I still feel that Duggan was a very influential mayor for the city of Detroit. And now the legacy is left into, I feel, some very competent hands, and that is in the form of the mayor now, the first African-American female mayor of the city of Detroit, in Mary Sheffield. So we definitely, are keeping her lifted up in our thoughts and our prayers, that her administration will be a very, very productive, and it will bring a lot of prosperity to the great residents of the city of Detroit and the surrounding communities as well as throughout the state. A lot of people realize today that today is the Black Tie Affair, the fundraising event that they do for the auto show. So we hope that that is a rousing success for all of the charities that benefit from the auto show. And we hope that the auto show, even though the weather has been, but we live in Michigan, so we understand. We get snow this time of the year. The weather's kind of cold, but we pray that everybody has safe travels, not just to the Black Tie Affair today, but also to the auto show for the remaining time that the auto show will be here at Huntington Place. But there's great things that are happening. There's great things that are in the midst of continuing, and there are great people here in the studio today, and I'm gonna get started. I've got two people that have been on the show with us before, and I will start because Hilda Griffin always told me to be a gentleman and say ladies first. So I will introduce the person to the right of me, and that is Erica Hill. And to Erica Hill's right, that is Joe Person. So when we think in terms of say about seeing Joe on the show, we know Joe comes with receipts. Joe comes with saying, I get the job done. Erica, Joe, welcome to a special edition of Truth to Power today.
Thank you, Darwin.
Thank you so much,
Pleasure
Darwin.
to be here.
And I just want to say that we know what's been going on. I'm going to just ask you both, real quick. Looking at the beginning of 2026, your thoughts about the first couple of weeks. We haven't even had 3 weeks into the year yet, and we see a lot that's been going on. But what's on your mind, Joe, as far as say for the first couple of weeks of this year?
I thought that by now, by 2026, the city of Detroit would have put a black female in as mayor long before now. But now that it has happened, I wish her nothing but the most gracious, expedient, and safe year for her, because she has been awesome. During COVID, they gave us a U-Haul truck and gave us food in Southfield during COVID. We fed over 25,000 people based on what she did. And she wasn't running. Remember, that was back in 2020. So she has our love, our blessings. And if she picks up the phone and asks the Black Caucus up in Oakland County or the Southfield Lathrop Village Democratic Club in Southfield, Madam Mayor, what can we do to help you? Simple as that. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Erica, your thoughts?
Well, the first 16 days of 2026, I mean, clearly you've laid it out. It's been, it's like it's like going to the movie theater and just, pulling out popcorn. The disrespect that your president showed our, I got to give him to somebody because it's not mine. Every day is something different with him. And for what I want to talk about in that regard, just briefly, is the evidence of how displeased people are with him in that GoFundMe account that was set up for TJ, the worker at Ford, and that's very near and dear to my heart. My resume is long and fruitful, but I started my career as a line worker at Ford Wixom Assembly Plant. My father worked for Wixom Assembly Plant for many years, and so the people of the UAW, I also work for UAW, so the people of UAW are very near and dear to my heart, and so the total and blatant disrespect that the president showed during that time, during the event the other day, was just ridiculous. And the fact that the public cried out and supported TJ, and that GoFundMe account ended at $811,000 is a
$922,000 as of 1 o'clock this morning.
Okay, what I understood was that they cut it off, so evidently somebody didn't do something. But when it last noted, it was cut off at 811, and that's a vote. Those are votes. Those are statements of how people feel about what's happening in our country. And I think that is a good indication of what we have to look forward to in the midterm elections. I won't go all off into that, but I just wanted to talk about that because I think that is it's a very interesting point as we are on the 16th day of January and we have to move forward to the upcoming the rest of the remainder of the term for the president, and how people are being affected by what he does and what he doesn't do. So, good job, TJ, and I'm looking forward to see what's going to come on the backside of that from our labor side, from labor, and for the folks that are supporting him. As far as our mayor, Mary Sheffield, as a black woman, as a young black woman that has worked in politics as well. I think the last time we were here, we talked about it, Darwin. I have nothing. I'm so proud that we have a black woman in that seat. I want to just ensure that the people around here don't get it twisted and don't get caught up in the glory and the fanfare and just get caught up in the honeymoon, because there is work to be done. And she needs support, and she needs all the help that she can get in order to enable our city to continue to rise. She is not a Caucasian man, and our playing fields are not level. And so we want to make sure that she has the support that she needs to ensure that our city gets the just due that we deserve, and our citizens get the just due that we deserve. And she's, her platform has outlined her intentionality around the neighborhoods, and I'm really excited to see what we can do to help her help the neighborhoods and the city and the citizens that have lived here for decades, and that's what's important to me.
Now, I'm going to ask you this, and I'm going to get to Joe in a minute about something else. But Erica, you tell what you do with the County of Wayne.
I currently am an appointee for the Wayne County Sheriff, and I oversee special projects for him. And most notably, I oversee the chaplains. The sheriff has about 130 chaplains in his chaplaincy corps, and they are aligned to help establish his presence in the community and create a connection between the ecumenical community and the law enforcement community. So I oversee that program, And I also, stand on behalf of the sheriff, and any other things that he needs me to do, I do. But that's my core focus for the sheriff.
Now, just real quick, talk about what the chaplains do for the County of Wayne.
The chaplains, so the sheriff's chaplains, again, they act as the sheriff's presence in the community. They are there as a spiritual guide to help support the sheriffs and the sheriff's office, and the deputies that work inside the jail, and any other staff. They provide spiritual support and guidance in that regard. They also help to extend the sheriff's office into the community through their churches. And so we have a Christmas shopping with the sheriff drive that the chaplains provide names from their congregations to allow for young people to experience a Christmas that they wouldn't be able to experience. The chaplains also we have established a active shooter training and emergency responsive training that squarely sits on the shoulders of the ecumenical community based on all the things that have happened over the last year with shootings and emergencies that happen in churches. And the chaplains provide, like I said, a place in the community where the sheriff can't fill that gap. If there's something that happens or something that's necessary or some support that's needed in the community, the chaplains are extension of the sheriff, and they provide his presence in the community as such.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And I'm like you, Joe. Wow. Just all the different things. But go ahead, Joe.
Well, I know that the active shooting program is awesome because we borrowed it. We borrowed your our chief of police, Elvin Barron,
Yes.
used to be your second in command.
Yes.
And we borrowed him.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
I understand that.
And one of the things he brought there right away to Southfield, because he's proactive instead of reactive.
Mm-hmm.
We had the active shooters program out in Southfield 5 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
because he said this is what's coming. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
And I mean, what is we up to what? It's not even 16 days into the year, and what have we had? What, 5, 6, 7, 8 active shootings already?
Yes.
So. I'm just proud of what as you say, the sheriff has done. As a matter of fact, last night he was out, him and your
Chief of Staff.
Chief of Staff,
Kevin Tolbert.
Kevin Tolbert. We were out in Livonia wishing Kate Sheminsky, well, she's the chair of the Livonia Democratic Club. She has some health concerns, issues, and she's getting ready to leave.
Retired, right.
She's retired from the Democratic Party. In spirit, not in mind and body,
Mm-hmm.
and she's getting ready to leave the state. And they came out, and it was incredible what the sheriff did. He's incredible. All of you guys at the county sheriff level, you're doing great things. Just right now is a good time to be involved in Wayne County. Period. Whether it's at the city level or at the county level, but this sheriff. Like he said, I remember in the campaign when somebody was coming for him and they were talking about him, and he was explaining what he's done, and he says, "I am the sheriff," he's been awesome. So thank you so much for the job that you're doing, as well as the chaplains, and most importantly, the county sheriff.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
So, Joe, let's get to Oakland County, Southfield. And I definitely want to go and extend my condolences to the family. The young lady that got shot over there at the was it the Bloom?
Yes.
At that restaurant.
Nightclub.
Right, at the nightclub. But Tim is saying we need to take a break. Okay. But the main thing is just that our condolences to that family, to what happened at that nightclub.
The most important thing everybody needs to know, that's something that shouldn't have happened. That young lady was the cause of her own death. She was the one that pulled the gun. They went out there. They told, it's all on camera. They went and told her, put the gun down, lower the gun. She reaching for the gun. The guy shot her. They took him in.
That was who, the security person?
The security person, they took him in, talked to him, they released him. And most people know when they release you that quick, you know something is different. But it shouldn't have happened. The other concerns about the parking over there, they try to build it up as a lot of people parking in the chateau apartments and different things, but that's something that people always do, and the owner's aware of it now, so he's going to work with the chateau apartments as well as with the police department. This isn't the first time we've had a problem like this, but we deal with it in Southfield, and we have a capable person in terms of Chief Elvin Barry, and I'm not even worried. I'm not going to lose sleep over it because I know he's going to take care of business.
And you just got to, your mayor reelected, there in Southfield.
We got our mayor reelected, but this is his last term, period. And we have some concerns about the data centers that where our city council, believe it or not, 5-2, Charles Hicks, who's a member of the Southfield Dem Club, my treasurer, and Ashanti Blind, who's a member, who's the ex-school board president, is a member of the club. We got them, elected. They voted against it because she is a senior auditor for Ford Motor Company, and Charles Hicks was the director of purchasing for Wayne County. $1 billion worth of money went through his hands that he was in control of. They understand budgets. They understand how things should be done. And they asked the most important question: do you have the money to put a data center in Southfield? And the answer was no. So the question becomes, why would you vote, the 5 people vote 5-2 to bring a data center to this city? You see all around the state, I understand it was $3 billion in contracts that were given to various people, and they're putting data centers everywhere. But they're not looking at the flip side. What is it costing us in noise? What is it costing us in the grid, the electrical grid? They keep saying that even the hurricanes that they have down in Florida, our grids are going out in Southfield. Now, something is wrong with that, We got some issues in Southfield. We got some issues in Black America, White America. If Black America has a problem, so does White America. And in Southfield, let's not get distracted. I realize that was a terrible situation of the young lady getting killed. And my condolences and prayers go out to the family, and we'll take care of that. But let's not put that on the front burner like that's the main thing when this data center is coming here, and that affects everybody in terms of our electricity going up, our water problem that we're having. They're talking about if you put a data center in the city of Southfield, the water and slush that comes off from the drainage will be bad in our waterways and the River Rouge and everything. So we got problems in Southfield. And one thing I notice about the people that have money, they do a good job of trying to distract you. And I keep my eye on the prize and take care of business.
Well, that's something, Erica, Joe, that right now you mentioned the word distraction, and it seems like there are a lot of distractions that are going on. The situation that happened at the Ford plant, it was kind of like a distraction away from some things that's happening with the Epstein files.
Venezuela.
The things that happened at the Ford plant was like a distraction with what happened in Venezuela.
Yes.
The thing that happened at the Ford plant was a distraction for the young lady that got killed by the ICE agents in Minnesota. So, like you're saying, there are a lot of distractions, and we need to stay woke. Is what I tell people. We got to stay woke to the things that are going on. So, are there anything, I mentioned 3 things, and those are 3 things that happened just in these 16 days that have started 2026. Is there anything else, Renee, Joe? I'll ask you first, Renee.
Erica.
I'm sorry, Erica.
That's okay.
I'm thinking about the
The
young
lady,
lady
yeah,
right,
yes,
that
indeed.
got killed in Minnesota. But, we do need to keep her name lifted.
You
Right.
do.
And our prayers, But the thing is, Erica, is that what are some of the other things that we don't need to get distracted on?
Oh, Wow. I mean, I just think that I can't think of anything. You caught me off guard, and I have to use my brain. It's early. So, but what you're saying is so true. I think we need to make sure that we're educating ourselves and not allowing the distractions to become our focus. Period. Those three things are pivotal. There's Iran, there's, they cleared out the airspace, and, everybody's trying to figure out what's happening, whether there's going to be a bombing. And
it's so interesting because when you mentioned that, I was talking to one of our next guests, and I was talking to Alexis, and we were talking about the doomsday plane.
Yes.
That they're talking about. There are a lot of people that are concerned, about that.
Yes.
Sitting on the tarmac
Yes.
here in California. What's that all about?
Yes.
And there's a lot of concern about people that are like, wait a minute, what is this doomsday plane, and what is the purpose of it? So that's another could be distraction,
correct,
as well.
Right, and I think that we need to be reflective about, what the president said he was going to do and what we knew he was going to do, and we still, I'm gonna say we still elected him, knowing that he does what he said he's going to do. And so we need to just be...
Don't put that we on me.
You all,
I didn't
them.
I didn't give him that support. But go
How
ahead.
you say y'all people,
Y'all
right?
people.
Because we're saying your president, now it's like we,
Yeah,
but I don't lay claim to
okay,
that.
I won't give
But
it to
go
you,
ahead.
Darwin. But the plan was laid out. What I'm saying is we have to stay woke. We have to be educated around the policies and the systems that are put in place that especially for African Americans, what are we doing to ensure our own livelihoods are staying safe, our families are staying safe. And sometimes we get caught up in the noise, and we get caught up with the distractions, and we end up with President Trump. And so what happens then, now we're on the defense. Now we have to, figure out what to do next when we had the opportunity to figure out what to do before it all happened. So I'm just saying that we need to make sure that we're educating ourselves around all of these issues and don't listen to the fluff. And sometimes it's difficult because you don't know when the next shoe is going to drop or what the cover up is. I believe that, centrally, like you said, it's the Epstein files. Like, that's the biggest shoe. And all of this, all of these other things, all of these other tactics, he said it. He said if he runs again, if the Republicans don't win, he's going to get impeached. He said that. And so when he says that himself, you know that there has to be some truth in it, and you know that there are some things that are happening under the radar that we are being distracted from. So again, I just said we need to make sure that we keep our eyes on the prize and look forward to our next election cycle, the midterm elections, and make sure that we're doing what we need to do to shore up our communities, our parties, whichever, whether it's independent, whether it's Democrat. I'm not going to talk about Republicans, but we need to make sure that we're doing the work so that we can effectuate change positively for our communities.
Okay,
The other piece
before we got, Tim did say we definitely got to take a break now. Okay. So we're going to take a break. We'll be back, and we're going to pretty much have a very engaging conversation because I've got a lot of great people here at the studio with me today. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Have you ever wanted your own TV show? Have you dreamed of showcasing your talent for the world to see? Well, now you can. Have your own TV show. You can have your own 30-minute show. Not only will you be seen in the Detroit area, but you can be viewed worldwide. For more information, call 313-868-6612. Visit our studios and receive a free TV interview to promote your business, church, or organization by appointment only.
Feel good about your future with tuition-free programs at Wayne County Community College District. Whether you want to be in healthcare, computer science, the culinary arts, digital media, or robotics and automation for the next generation of vehicles, WCCCD has you covered. A full range of programs to achieve your goals, fit your schedule, and give you all the support you need to be successful. All of it tuition-free. Now there's something to feel good about. Register today at wcccd.edu.
Every Monday through Friday from 12 noon to 3 p.m., it's the Tavis Smiley Show on WHPR TV and Radio 15.2. Also seen on Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV, iPhone, and Android. That's the Tavis Smiley Show on WHPR TV and Radio. Download the WHPR TV app for iOS, Android, and Roku. The Tavis Smiley Show, distributed by RJ Watkins Studios.
Clean up on aisle 5. Sounds like my life right now. Just one big mess.
What's going on?
It's my property taxes.
What?
I am behind and I am so worried that I'm going to lose my house. I can pay some of it, but I can't pay it all at once.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm Eric Sabri, the Wayne County Treasurer. The last thing I want is for anyone to lose their property to tax foreclosure. We have assistance programs to help.
For more information, go to treasurer.waynecounty.com.
We're here to help.
Justice for Mario Willis. Truth. Facts. Evidence. Mattered. Log into justiceformariowillis.com. Read for yourself.
All media platforms are engaged.
Copy. Get ready to launch your show or product.
Periscope ready. We're 5x5 ready to launch. Copy that.
Trend worldwide across all major platforms.
Ignition. 3, 2, 1.
The world is waiting. Watkins Broadcasting. More than just TV.
Block time is available. Get yours. Call 313-868-6612. That's 313-868-6612. Executive producer RJ Watkins. Program director Henry Tyler. 107.5 FM. WGPR HD3. RadioWeCanSee.com.
313watkins.com. Streaming on Roku.
Special edition of Truth to Power. As you see, the people on this journey with me are different. I've got, to my right, I've got the Honorable Alexis Ramsey, and to her right, I've got Norman Clement from Changing This, right?
Changing Action Fund Detroit, Changing This too. I do a lot, so we do a lot. So
you sound like everybody else I've got here in the show.
So yeah, we do a lot.
You know? But let me just get started real quick. Alexis, Norman, you've seen a lot in these first 16 days. What's on your mind about what you've seen so far? And then we'll kind of get more into the political landscape, of the, state of Michigan. But what's on your mind in terms of about 2026 so far?
Well, I'm welcoming in 2026 with a positive attitude. Let's start there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very nervous about where we are as a country right now. Our president is making decisions on that are irrational. We're not sure if we're going to go to war day to day. What has happened to Renee Good is absolutely horrible. We're facing ICE detention centers possibly here in our own community. So 2026 has absolutely been a whirlwind. It's starting out a little bit rough, but we're going to get through it. And I just say together as a community, we just have to stand together, stay mindful of what's happening, and stay woke on all the issues that are coming down the pipeline with the banking system, with Iran, with what's happening here on our own homeland, what's happening in Venezuela. So there's a long list of the 16 days. But I am very happy to congratulate as well Mary Sheffield on her win as the first African-American woman to run the city of Detroit. And I'm looking forward to the great progress that she makes.
Good. Norman? I mean, she didn't leave too much
She
left.
didn't do the less, but, going in positive, I think Mary Sheffield being the first African-American woman mayor of Detroit is the positive thing that's going on. The positive thing is that our grassroots efforts on the ground are active, engaging, talking to people. That's it. I see what's not happening. I see that folks are acting like we're going to have a normal election. I see that we are not being, and this is to the DNC, we're not being transparent on what's wrong, what happened in 2024, and we acting like the humga, everything going to be all right, because some of those folks who cause harm in the party are still in charge. They want to be held accountability. And the lack of accountability is this is where we are right now. And it's frustrating that sometimes, there's things that my grandfather said, you take care of business or the business of others will take care of you.
Say it again.
Take care of business or the business of others will take care of you.
Okay.
And so we have folks who are acting like
That was your grandmother that said
my
that?
grandfather.
Grandfather. What's his name?
Erling Clement.
Okay, we got to make sure we give credit where credit is due.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Panama, at the age of 6 years old, he had taken out of school and helped build the Panama Canal.
Oh, wow.
And so coming from that lineage, also he taught us that, if you see something, you prevent it. And so what's troubling is that we see the same markers that we see what happened to us in 2016 and 2024. Folks are trying to claim the power that we don't even have. And the folks on the ground are seeing this right now. This chaos is happening within our own party. The lack of support, the lack of, this is not the folks who are on the ground. These are folks who are making decisions in the philanthropy spaces. These are folks making decisions who are spreading the dollars out to groups that go out in the community. This right now is going on as everybody's a hum and a ha that we're having our Michigan Congressional convention in April, when we may be at war next week. We may be going down this tunnel with Cuba, Venezuela, Iran, Mexico, and we have unstable people who are letting this guys do what he want to in the White House. And there has been no adjustment from that part of that leadership. We're not seeing we're also seeing there's still anti-blackness in those spaces.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is that we have folks who are being the, Garland Gilchrist. I watch things. We noticed that in September and October, when polling came out, he was not even involved in the gubernatorial polling. And then him making an announcement for running for Secretary of State, fine. But it seems like he was pushed in that area. And so we have 3 black men who are running for one position, Secretary of State. We have no black men who are running for U.S. Senate. That seems funny to me. Also in this space where we were promised about a robust GOTV voter registration effort from the DNC for all of 2025, and we have not we have not seen nothing yet. And so I am concerned that right now black folks who are as an organizer on the ground, I'm really looking at it like, damn, should I have my people prepared for get out to vote, but also have them prepared to what's your escape plan to have your families go out to Canada and folks in the men stay behind to fight for your property and get ready to bang. Because these data centers, these detention centers, those are nothing but slave camps. Those are nothing but concentration camps. They have to work to make a pay phone call for those to call the people and let them know where they're at. That means they have to work $1 a day. It takes $5 to make a call. So they have to work and get $5 to make a call to their loved ones, let them know they're in the ICE detention center. This is what's going on in America. And I think the DNC, they know about it, but they're acting hunky days ago or from a place from privilege that they act like from a place of privilege, oh, it won't happen to us. They shot a white woman in the face in Minnesota. Folks better wake up. I don't mean to sound alarm, y'all, or sound bad, but I'm just speaking the truth, what's going on, truth to power. It is what it is, and we got to get our act together.
Alexis?
Well, I'm in line with you, Norman. I mean, we don't know day to day where we're going, what's getting ready to happen. You mentioned earlier in the first segment about how we have the Doomsday plane that is currently sitting on a LAX tarmac right now. Our government says, oh, well, we just brought it out in order for us to test it. Now, no other president has ever tested the Doomsday plane. And I think right now, especially when you start talking about how we don't have boots on the ground. We have not had a rigorous process in order to get more people engaged and get more people, the messaging is off. Let's just call it what it is. We do not have good messaging from the top down. So that's from the DNC, that is from MDP. We are heading into a direction that I think we're going to cause our candidates here in Michigan to spend lots of money and still not have success. Right. You know, I think we forget that we are running a 3-person race this time, right? This is not just a race where we're going in and it's just a Republican against a Democrat. It's the Republican, Democrat, and Independent. Absolutely. And the Independent has a war machine, right? And he has a whole machine that's behind him. And he's building each day, and his messaging is phenomenal, whether we like it or not. And so where we're failing here, and then also, like you said, we pushed out the black man. I'm gonna call it what it is. We're not gonna put no chaser behind it. They push Garland out this race. This man is the lieutenant governor of this state. Who has always been the next person in line after governor? It's always the lieutenant governor. So for you to say, oh, well, you know, we're going to go in a different direction. And we all saw the current articles that have come out of the MDP's candidate. Right now, this individual is being sued by 6 African Americans for discrimination and has already paid out a $776,000 lawsuit already. Yep. And I'll just say this, as the vice chair of the Michigan Democratic Party Black Caucus, I am very disappointed in my caucus and the decision that they made for us to jump out this early to endorse someone, and we did not have all of the information, or let me just say all of the information was not provided to the members for them to make the best decision for us at this time. We didn't have screening. We didn't have the normal process. So people say, well, what's the process? The process is we have a screening committee. We interview all the candidates. We then make our recommendations to our executive board and our executive committee. Then we're supposed to take it to the membership for a final vote. Well, that did not happen. So now the Michigan Democratic Party has decided to not only do that, they decided to double down yesterday and say, I still support this candidate despite what we've seen. And myself and Darwin and other members, and yourself as well, are saying, hey, you need to take a look at this. Maybe this may not be the best candidate for us to support at this time. Or pull your endorsement back. Let's find out more information and come back and do the process properly. And to be very clear, I did not vote yes to endorse this individual. I voted no. So,
no.
I mean, that right there is the process is being rushed, but yet we put the convention in April. And what's going on is that there's assumption of time that we have that we do not have a lot of time. folks right now in the community are looking for answers. Right now, the price of you cannot feed your family off of $3, no matter what the administration says.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, eggs are $8. Milk is probably $6. There is no dollar menu on McDonald's anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And folks are hungry. Folks are looking for answers. Folks are doing 2 or 3 jobs right now. There is no support from USDA coming in for aid for pantries are empty.
Mm-hmm.
And so people are asking, okay, what is the help we could do right now? Don't preach to me about hope down the line. Oh, we have a midterm. I got to feed my family now. I got to take care of my kids now. And ask for folks, ask the people who are affected the most by these policies to come out and give their time to volunteer for anything or just keep hope alive and talk to them about marching and all this stuff. No, man, we need results now. What are you doing? What policies are happening right now? How are you keeping us safe? And understand this, guys, that, this is a red state, but we have Democratic leadership.
Mm-hmm.
What is the plan when we know that ICE is coming to our communities during election time when they're guarding the polls at election time? What happens if we got a special election coming up in February mm-hmm. in Saginaw? What if somebody send ICE up there to guard the polls up there? Mm-hmm. What is the plan for that? What is the action for that? Mm-hmm. And so much time that some of our leadership who is there are part of the problem and not thinking about this. When it happens, everybody's reactionary. This is not a time to be reactionary because I tell everybody, this is it. There is no other election after. I said last year, 24, hey, this is really it, y'all. And, it's going to be different. People played the FAFO, and we're right here. If we're doing the same thing in 26, it's going to be FAFO to FTS. People going to get to the point where bump that. If y'all ain't going to do it, I'm going to fend for myself and my family the best way I know how. It's not going to be peace. You're talking about war in the streets.
But I truly believe this is what our current president is trying to create, civil war, right? Amongst ourselves. And he's doing everything that he can to create disruption. Again, bringing ICE or feds and these type of people into our community, we know already that what's happening, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't understand, even right here in Highland Park, we have a large Latino community,
absolutely,
right, that needs to be protected. I am just so disappointed. That's the best way I could put this. And the direction that we're going right now as a party, as a country, you're correct when you say we don't have policies in place to protect the people. We're not looking at how are we going to secure our polling sites. We have a president who's possibly trying to stop mail-in voting. Nobody's talking about that. So we are facing some very tumultuous times, and I don't think we're ready and or prepared for what's getting ready to happen. And civil war is closer than we ever thought.
Yeah.
Well, let's double back on what you were saying, Alexis, too. This is the midterm election,
Mm-hmm.
and we've got a lot of people that are running that are looking for support throughout the state. We've got from the governor, attorney general, all these seats are open seats.
Mm-hmm.
The secretary of state, and then just like you were saying, we've got people that don't quite understand the process and understand what's going on, especially like when you mentioned, too, about you've got an independent that's running for the top spot here in the state of Michigan. And people don't understand that. They don't understand the fact that that top spot is going to have a primary come April 19th. And
well, that's the caucus. So April 19th is the caucus.
Right.
And the thing is that the independent candidate that's running for governor does not have a primary. That person is going to be on the ballot in November. So there's a lot of concern because people don't quite understand how that process plays out. And that's what I think that we need to talk more about, understanding what the process is and who are the people that are affected by the process, not knowing what an independent candidate does. And what do you think in terms of about that?
Well, that goes back to voter education, right?
That goes back to
Exactly what we were promised back in 425 is that they were going to put dollars into caucuses. They were going to put dollars into organizations like what Norm it works with. They were going to put money into like our congressional districts, and then we were going to get out. We were going to do voter education. We were going to
we'll do voter education, outreach, and candidate education for
Absolutely.
the Democratic Party. The difference is having 3 candidates is that during the general, one, we normally used to be able to do straight party ticket. Problem is you have an independent, so you can't vote straight party ticket. That lets me know the lines are going to be long. 2, we're going to have a lot of spoiled ballots because there's no education going on about them. You cannot do a straight party ticket. You have to do bubble in, going on this way. And then we also have 5 seats up for the school board.
Yes, we do.
And we also have new candidates running in for the congressional. We also have 4, maybe 7 ballot initiatives. 4 of them are progressive, where we have the money out of politics, so invest in my kids. And so all that was supposed to be taking place in 25. Ain't nothing happened. Everybody sat there and watched the world go up ablaze and said, what we're going to do, what we're going to do. Now it's the beginning of 2026.
We're behind. Let's call it what it is.
And normally, I don't say anything. We'll try to work with it. I refuse to do that because guess what? We lost, and these are in 25. It was 60 years of civil rights advancement was gone within 3 months. I cannot sit here and be silent anymore and not say the red thing out loud. We have to start doing education on the ground, education of people about what candidate to support, not to split the ticket, and understand the dynamics of a third party running in this race. The folks at that top, they're supposed to be the smart ones from DC or anything like that. It hasn't hit them yet, and I am kind of perplexed on why it hasn't hit you yet because you're supposed to be the expert, but now we're the experts. We know our community, and so as community organizers and leaderships on these tables, we have to be more vocal and say, hey, man, no, we're not waiting until April. You have to talk to people now, right now. What's going on? Where's the help that can happen? Educate them all through the year to get their support. See that you care. And also make sure the people that you elected deliver on the things that are going on. If you take a page out of what Mary did.
Hello. Something real simple.
Simple. Like right now, if I'm the DNC, I will be trying to hire any organizer from Chantel Watkins. Hey, I'll be trying to hire her fast as I can because guess what? She was pivotal in the work what Mary did for those 3 years coming up to the election. You done wasted a year. So you have right now to get folks out there to get this stuff organizers. There's other organizers with C4 talking about Detroit Action, We the People. There's organizers in 482 Forward, Change Initiative Action Fund. All these organizations are on the ground right now, doing ballot initiatives, doing signature collections on those things right now. You should go to them and say, what do we need to do right now? Curtis Hertel, go to them, what we need to do right now, and everything they say they do. Don't listen to anybody in Washington. Don't worry about the damn money. Put the money in the ground, put the effort on the ground, and get things done. Because if you don't, and it's doing the same approach as you do all the time, you will lose. And once you lose, there's nothing coming back from there. There is no option. There's no 28. There's no nothing. This man is building a 5,000 square foot wing on the White House. They do not do that if they don't plan to be there forever.
Well, he said it, right? He said when he ran, the current president said this will be the last election. You will not have to vote anymore. He also, if you listen to him in his interviews and things like that, he also said, well, if we're in war, then we don't have an election. And so that's where we're heading right now, right? I mean, who goes in to Venezuela? Don't get me wrong. I understand, the issues with the leadership. But what I'm saying is who goes in and kidnaps a president, bring him back to our country, right? Put him up on trial, and nobody says anything. It's like everybody is silent. Everything's supposed to be okay, and it's not. Because we're allowing him to live pretty much a lawless society. That's pretty much where we are right now. We have a president who is doing what he chooses to do the way he chooses to do things. And we don't have anyone that's stopping him or even stepping up from his own party. This is where I'm going with this. They're cutting funding for health care. Their health care is gone.
Yeah, really.
My premium has gone up from almost $600 to almost $1,200 now a month. Just for me to have basic health care. But nobody's talking about that. And so this is what I'm saying with the party. We need to start hollering at the top of our lungs about the damage that is happening in our community. From health care to reproductive care to child care. Everything is being cut across the board. You see him go after blue states. And right now he's cutting funding in Minnesota completely. You're trying to cut off people's food stamps. I mean, what are people supposed to do? You go to the grocery store, like you said. I go to the grocery store. I used to shop maybe once a week, right? Like, hey, okay, I'll go to the grocery store. I'm now going to the grocery store 2-3 times a week because you just can't go in and just purchase everything at one time.
I mean,
it's ridiculous.
You know, the working class income right now in America is $128,000.
Absolutely.
Is working class, not middle class.
That's blue collar now.
That's blue collar. Working class, $128,000 for a family of 4. That is just to survive. Working class. And so you have folks who are stuck in their jobs, who are taking not just one job, it's 2 to 3, 4 jobs. 3 jobs. They're doing it online, they're doing Uber Eats or DoorDash, and they're doing their main job right now. And you're asking folks to come out here and volunteer to do all this stuff. How are they going to take care of their families?
Volunteer is not happening.
It's not happening.
Let's just call it what it is. The party needs to get off of this, come in and give us free labor. It's not happening anymore. Either you're going to pay people to get out here, get on the ground and do the job and do the work, because you're going to pay the people at the top. Yeah. Right? Everybody gets paid at the top, but then you want people that, and I'm just going to call it what it is, that look like us, to come in and work for free, and it's not happening. Period. So I don't know as to structure wise when it comes to the party and how we're getting ready to move things forward, but all this volunteerism is gone.
Well, it's not even happening out there, because out there rural communities are getting decimated. They have no rural hospitals out there anymore. We have older senior citizens that we could depend on out in those communities to say, hey, let's do this here, let's work for here, can you come do some voter registration for us? They don't have the time, because guess what? Their premiums are up. Even if they're on Medicaid or Medicare, their premiums are up. They don't have the time. They have to take care of themselves. Also, their kids are living with them because their kids can't afford a home.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, we've got 5 more minutes left before we take this next break. But Alexis, I want you to kind of, you know, you're all Highland Park. Talk about Highland Park in this upcoming year.
Well, this upcoming year we have an election coming up, so we're going to elect our mayor, city council, city clerk, all of those things, treasurer again. I think right now the biggest thing on the horizon is, if you saw the Washington Post article, I think everybody's just trying to figure out the lay of the land at this point. There was an article that came out that said ICE potentially wants to put a facility here in our community. We have a city council right now who is looking at doing some rezoning from residential to mixed use and IDR, which is industrial. The other day they had a meeting, which was like a workshop. And at that workshop, you know, the question came up, can an ICE facility be placed here in our community? Well, the answer that was given was no. But when you actually go and read the zoning ordinance, there's some cracks in the system. Right, with the way that the government, federal government, could still come in under public industry, you know,
public industrial use of
exactly, right. So if we do not put language currently in the current resolution on Monday, which could be amended, to say in these new mixed use and IDR areas, you cannot have detention centers. You cannot hold. You can not have it as a holding center, and you have to put that language there, because if not, the federal government can come in under government facility or public government space, right? So there's a loophole there, and all I'm saying is that we gotta fill this gap in order to protect not only our citizens here within our town, but also our surrounding communities. And so this is not something, based on what we're seeing out of Minnesota, we don't want this here, and it's not something that would be positive or growth for our community to bring a facility like this. So that's kind of what's on our horizon right now.
Yeah, I think Westland changed their charter immediately to eliminate that too. And I think
Absolutely.
that if you put one in Highland Park, it's going to affect all of Detroit.
Not just Detroit. You got Dearborn Heights.
got
You have
neighboring,
Hamtramck. You
all of them.
have Sterling Heights. You have Commerce Township. It's because we're the pearl and the oyster, right? And so we have every major vein we're connected to. We're connected to the Davison. We're connected to I-75, and we're connected to the Lodge. We can get from anywhere in the city of Highland Park in 15 minutes. Absolutely. So that means from here to the airport, 15 minutes. From here to Southfield, 15 minutes. So what I'm saying is that if we do not slow this down now, I believe, and this is just my own personal opinion, I believe this facility will be here, and they're going to house anywhere between, I think it was like 2,000 to 3,000 people within this particular facility. So we have to stop it. That's all I can say.
Well, we got to take a break, so we will be right back, and you're watching a very special edition of Truth to Power. Stay tuned.
Clean up on aisle 5. Sounds like my life right now. Just one big mess.
What's going on?
It's my property taxes.
What?
I am behind, and I am so worried that I'm going to lose my house. I can pay some of it, but I can't pay it all at once.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm Eric Sabri, the Wayne County Treasurer. The last thing I want is for anyone to lose their property to tax foreclosure. We have assistance programs to help.
For more information, go to treasurer.waynecounty.com.
We're here to help.
Hey, I know you've seen them. Those sleek vapes that everyone says is better than smoking. Here's the truth. They're not. Did you know that in Michigan, 14% of high school students use e-cigarettes? That's a lot of people risking their life for a quick buzz.
Nicotine doesn't just harm your body, it affects your mind too. It can make depression and anxiety worse, and even change how your brain handles stress. You deserve better than to let a tiny device control your mood and your future.
You know, I thought vaping was no big deal until it started affecting my mood and focus.
Yeah, and did you know that kids who vape are more likely to smoke cigarettes?
But there's good news. You don't have to do this alone. Whether it's through friends, family, or a support group, there's always a way out.
Your health, your future, you're worth so much more than what vaping has to offer.
Detroit's got your back. Visit CUYFDcoalition.org for tools and support to help.
From the desk of RJ Watkins, this is a WHPR editorial.
I'm Ariana Watkins, and for decades, my father, RJ Watkins, has served our community with quality radio and TV service through WHPR and Roku. Today, I'm proud to stand beside him, continuing the legacy built on trust, innovation, and your support. We're here because of you, and we'll keep bringing you the best now and for generations to come. Thank you for supporting us and growing with us.
This has been a WHPR editorial.
Justice for Mario Willis. Truth. Facts. Evidence. Mattered. Log into justiceformariowillis.com. Read for yourself.
To the I Love the Hustle show, Saturday afternoons at 12 p.m., followed by Mr. Smooth's Ballroom and Steppers Express Dance Show on WHPR 15.2 Detroit, Apple TV, Roku, and many streaming platforms. See you Saturday.
313watkins.com. Streaming on Roku.
WHPR Detroit HD3.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit.
Welcome back to Truth to Power. I'm Roy McAllister Jr. I'm just sitting in while Darwin takes a little care of a little business. And we're going to continue this conversation here with these two fantastic men. I got Joe here. Joe, you used to be, a sergeant major in the military? Yeah. And Brother Norm, you was hitting on some excellent points here. And we just going to continue this portion of this conversation, picking up from where the both of you left off. Joe, again, us being military personnel, I look at this issue as far as what's going on, as far as the top level, as far as when you talk about when you have chaos throughout the country, what happens later on is the president can come in and say, there's so much chaos, we're going to bring in martial law.
Yes.
And when you got martial law, continue with that, Joe.
All bets are off. That means we can stop the elections. We can control everything. What comes into your city, what comes out of your city, what comes into your harbor, what goes out of your harbor. We have absolute control. We take over your state government, your local, county, state, and federal government, which they already have. That's where all of this is going. Folks, remember Project 2025?
Yes, sir.
Why is everybody acting like they brand new? Read the document that they created, that these folks created to do exactly what they're doing right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Norm, brother, you was just hitting it out because we are blindsided. And Joe, go ahead. Norm, just go ahead.
Just like you said, it's not blindsided. These people were told this.
Yes.
And so, yes, we got some moral victories. We got some victories in Virginia, New Jersey. The people are coming out. But if see this coming, and now we got these victories are coming, I'm not going to sit there and slow down. No, I'm going to kill a gnat with a sledgehammer and keep going. And so, if this is my last stand, I'm not sitting here waiting on, we're going to wait till we got 2028 to think about. No, this is your last stand.
Yes, sir.
Act like this is your last stand. I'm not even thinking about 27. I'm not even thinking about 28. I'm thinking about right now, 26, everything. I got to win the House. I have to win the Senate. And I have to win some key states key gubernatorial in some states where I can sit there and say, if this guy decides and say, hey, we have an election, and this guy decides. Let's be clear: if he's alive and doing the election, he's going to challenge the election if this House flips and the Senate flips. He's going to challenge the election. Let's get this out the way right now. What are we doing right now? Getting prepared right now for when that happens.
No, let me ask something because you brought out an excellent point. You said that 2027, 2028. But we may not even have that because we might be, you got Iran. He's talking about Iran. It wasn't brought up. He's talking about Greenland. You got...
That's part of NATO. If you attack Greenland, you attacking NATO, which we're supposed to be a part of.
Yeah.
And you've already saw the Chancellor of Germany, President of France, all these different countries come out and say, the buck stops here, Trump.
Right, and
they're not playing.
And they're coming after not Russia, not China, United States.
And China said Trump had said, well, China or Russia is going to take these countries,
Right.
Take Greenland. China, Xi came out and said, I didn't say that.
Exactly.
We know that this man's a habitual liar, a
Right.
pathological.
And what's interesting is that China and Canada had a conference 2 days ago.
Right.
That has not happened in 40
Years.
Right.
That's right.
So if China and China are talking,
Mm-hmm.
that lets you know, hey man, let me go ahead and get some more backup.
There you go.
They're serious about Greenland.
There you go.
And so what if it happens is that we could be in a global war, but the pressure from our side is not talking about. We're not hearing talk about mental fitness.
Yes.
Like they would do if this was Joe Biden. We're talking about mental fitness. What's going on? We need to see those health records. Does he have dementia? Are you propping him up?
Yes.
What's going on in that circle?
right.
Are y'all following the president? No one is out here questioning the president's health on the day basis. That would be if I'm a messenger machine, I'm questioning his health every single day. Why is the president talking? Why is he falling asleep and waking up during these meetings?
Right.
What's
right,
going on
right,
with
right.
him? Matter of fact, the Americans demand a health screening, a health check. Is he fit to serve?
And what was brought out also is that he tries to bully and tries to pressure. I mean, you look at when he's talking about Greenland, what happened? Greenland called him up. Oh, that just made his day. You talk about Maria Machado.
Gave him to her.
Gave her
Nobel Prize.
Why? Because he said, I was supposed to win. So she's trying to get in that position because she's a opposition to Machado.
Right.
So these all things is happening. I mean, we look at that big focus, but then we have to bring it back down to where we are here in the state. And, Norm, you talked about we have several people that are running for the Senate seat, but how many black folk is running for that Senate seat? Now, I did hear Maurice Marwood is running. He's claiming, but he's running as an independent. It goes back to that independent, which you was talking about, Joe. So let's elaborate. Let's talk about what's going on with the state now. We haven't even talked about the Attorney General yet.
Listen. Now I'm gonna open up the can of worms because everybody's scared, and this ain't the radio station. This ain't none of them. Listen, the endorsement of Jocelyn Benson.
Okay.
I got issues with that.
Okay.
All of this stuff that's coming out, her husband just paid money for some stuff that's going on in his business.
But Joe, that's her husband.
Yeah, but no. But the point is, it was.
I'm messing with you, Joe.
I know that. Yeah. But the point is, you can't separate the husband from the wife. I'm looking at a pattern.
Yes, sir.
And the pattern is, she just paid out $775,000 to one of her top lieutenants that said there was some problems there.
Yes,
in
sir.
terms of a hostile work environment. The husband is doing the same thing. Now you have all of these other folks that are coming out. And then when we talk about her former guy, Hester Wheeler, who was her second in command, is a witness to this. Now I hear some things that he wanted to run her campaign and some different. I'm not going down that road. The fact that the man is talking about being a witness, something's wrong with it. And let me go one step further. I'm part of the Black Caucus. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We were held an emergency meeting to endorse her, and I said I'll endorse her with conditions, and I put some of those conditions on the table.
Yes, sir.
That we need to look into some things. Here's the thing: I didn't know that all of this other stuff was getting ready to come out. So as far as I'm concerned, the Michigan Democratic Party Black Caucus was duped into coming in to endorse her, to prop her up, because somebody had to know all of this stuff was out there, including, I knew that the $775,000 payout was there. And they said, well, listen, would you give somebody $775,000 if you was innocent? Okay, let's keep this real.
There you go.
I have never seen a situation in this state where the lieutenant governor's running for governor and he didn't get the endorsement of the governor.
Mm-hmm.
I have never seen Go-Go, and I know you know the name, the whole name.
Yeah.
That's the second in command to Jocelyn Bennett and Jocelyn Benson, and did not get the endorsement. And now all three black men are running for the same job of
Secretary of State.
Secretary of State.
Uh-huh.
Something is wrong with that. Let me tell you what happened when I was a Republican, show you just how things were. Back when Keith Butler ran for U.S. Senate, way back when, almost 20 years ago,
Right.
and we had some issues and some concerns that came out about him, what did the Republicans do in Washington, D.C.? Barbara Dole flew up here, because remember, Mike Bouchard was running for senator, and he had some health issues, and he backed away from it because he couldn't beat. He actually couldn't beat Keith Butler.
That's right.
But when the things came out about him, what did the Republicans do? They rallied the forces. They forced Keith Butler out and put Mike Bouchard, even though what was the senator Debbie Stabenow mopped the floor. But that's not the point. The point here was they recognized that was a bad decision in terms of Keith Butler, and they took care of it. We need to look at what's going on with this situation with Jocelyn Benson, because remember, the Democrats don't endorse during the primary. They get other people to come out and endorse.
Now, Norm, you know, it was brought out with Alexis that, and as you stated, Joe, this endorsement, isn't this kind of early to be endorsing somebody?
Well, it is kind of early. Well, it is kind of early because from the process of, because I'm not a part of the Michigan Black, I would love to be. I got to find out how to join. But it is kind of early in this process because we do have a convention.
That's what I'm saying.
And so, me personally, I can understand that the convention was in February like it normally is, or probably in March.
Yes, sir.
Our convention is during the second or third week in April.
Right.
Which is extremely late.
Yes.
Easter Sunday weekend.
Some Sunday weekend, that part. And so how many people are going to participate? And so enforcing these endorsements now, I was like, wait a minute, something is off here. I said, wait, we're not doing our due diligence, and we never force people to endorse before.
So we don't endorse.
What you don't endorse during your
wait a minute, but that's for the convention. This is the general election. They got to have the primary in terms of the governorship.
And the primary is in August.
That's what I'm saying.
So it gives off.
It's disjointed.
But then y'all brought out that we were running late. Well, so I mean, on the one hand, we're saying we're running late, but then on the other hand, we're saying we're doing it too early. So,
but here's the thing: is in April, August is the primary.
Okay.
Our primary, our convention's in April, but we're trying to get people to endorse in February, March, and we know. And the reason why I said the convention's late is because the primary is already set. The convention we can move. I would have moved up because what we're dealing with in the White House and the time we're on. We know this man in December and November said after all the elections were lost as well, I don't know, we need an election next year because he knows what's coming down the road.
Right.
The Republicans are losing in their own district.
Yes.
They can redistrict all they want to. They're still losing because the people are fed up.
Right.
So this man knows, okay, that's not even, redistricting not even a number. They start talking about redistricting now because that's not even an option for them.
And they've lost on that because the judges have shut them down and said, well, wait a minute, if Texas can do this, so can California.
And so now Virginia's looking.
Right.
Everybody's looking at this. So at the end of the day, gentlemen, we need to take care of some business. But more importantly, the Democratic Party, as Alexis was saying, need to be proactive instead of reactive. We need to be doing some things right now. And as you said, I know Southfield. I'm going to give you just one example. When they were talking about the people coming in to canvass,
yes, sir.
They said they're going to come on certain days. They said, Joe, well, why are you not going out now while we're going out? I said, because I know at the store that I'm going to canvass at, that they get their checks on the 1st of the month, they get their checks on the 6th of the month, they get their Social Security on the 13th of the month, and on the 20th of the month is that they have the big sale in the store that everybody comes.
So you did your research on.
I'm on the. I know I'm the chair of the club there. I know what happens in Southfield. So therefore, where you spend 40, 50 days collecting 1,000 signatures, I go 7 days and get 2,000 signatures.
I'm telling you,
that's knowing the people on the ground. That's why he's saying, spend the money, give me the money, I'll get you the results. Like as
Darwin always says, I bring receipts to the table that most of these other folks that are show horses can't bring to the table.
Which, Norm, you stated, it is our local folks. We know our community better than the federal folks coming in. So why are we bringing in federal folks that's trying to run our areas? I mean, I'm telling y'all listeners, if y'all ain't watching this, if y'all don't record it, I mean, we've had Darwin that started off first. We had some fantastic people, Erica Hill, Alexis. I mean, we had these two good brothers. If y'all ain't watching this, and if y'all don't record, this is where y'all get y'all information. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. So
it's baffling to me, but also there's organizations that come in our community that come in and say, I can top off one, Hip Hop Caucus. They come in, Norm, they talk to Ken Whitaker from Michigan United, other organizations here, Detroit Action. How could we help you meet this goal?
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
And so that's where you coming in. You're coming in to say, hey, you know the ground. How can I help to meet this goal? How can I talk to you? What we need to do? How we can amplify your work to get the folks going on?
Mm-hmm. Instead, they
tell you, well, we don't know that. We don't know this. Who's this person? We question the process and all this stuff. We got data from 2 years ago that shows this. I said, well, has your data caught up to date what's going on today?
Right.
If you have any data from 2022, before you had early voting on the time or before the demographics were different, especially with money on the line right now with folks that have lack of income, don't show me 22 results when you just had an election in 2024. You have an election in 25. Demographics have changed.
Yes.
Right now, Detroit is probably 70-30, 60-40, white to black.
Right.
Those neighborhoods that used to be all black, guess what? White women and dogs are running down the street.
Yes, sir.
Let's be honest with
Yes,
us.
sir.
So those demographics are changed. And so we have to do a better job of letting those folks coming in our community, let them know, hey, I know you're coming from D.C., I know you're coming with some backing, but last time we listened to you, we lost. So this is what we need to do.
Let me ask you a question, gentlemen, because like I said, both of y'all are from Detroit, I'm from D.C., but it's the same process.
Yes, sir.
When has anybody ever came in that did not look like us? Because let's keep it real, they brought us here for our wives, our women to be their bed wenches.
That's right.
Us black men to be worked like slaves until we're dead. And they sold our children.
Look out, Joe.
And we educated and we taught them how to cook, clean, and everything else. When has anybody looked out for us? And here we are in 2026. Now I'm thinking about this. Was it 200? How was it? 50 mayors or something?
Yeah.
How many mayors is it for Detroit?
Like 40 or 30, 40 or 50.
But the point is, and here you are, a first in 2026 of a black mayor.
Black woman
Black
mayor.
female.
Female mayor, yeah. We keep on going along to get along. This situation that they're asking us to go along with all of this craziness that's happening in the paper, don't believe our lying eyes. Don't believe what we're hearing. Don't believe what we're seeing. But let's go ahead and put this person in regardless. But wait a minute, isn't that the same mentality that got this guy in the White House now? 34, he's a 34-time convicted felon.
91 indictments.
91 indictments, not to mention the women, the money he's paid out for
Sexual
assault and everything. So are we going to do the same thing here in the state of Michigan? It's okay to pay out this money. It's okay to do this. It's okay to accept this. And then what I don't like is that the black people and all them are sitting around telling us, well, Joe, if we don't do this, what we going to do? Wait a minute. Black folk have been the last hired and the first fired.
Right.
We're not going to get nothing no way.
And Joe, Norm, at one time, we had a mayor called Coleman A. Young, Sr., that groomed you.
Right.
Joe, it's your time to run. Norm, it's not your time to run. We have groomed Joe. We will groom you. Now, Norm, if you step out of this, you can run it. But you can forget about ever having anything else. We've gotten away from that. Norm, I know you got something to say.
So
look at it.
That is so important about that. And talking about that, now, this is not just black folks are upset about what's happening and concerned about this.
Oh, yeah.
There are white progressive groups out there I work with every day say, yo, that's a problem. Because guess what? They see that the ground has changed. folks are more looking at, okay, I'd rather deal with the devil I know or the devil I don't know. And also, they're not going to sit there and you're not going to feed me mess to go back to the same thing before. What worked in the past is not going to work now.
Yes, sir.
Even with now, the reason why we're at this point because people were upset with the government was working years past.
Yes, sir.
They're
Yes,
not going back to the same thing before is better than others. They're not doing that no more.
Let me tell you something. Last night we were out in Livonia. God bless Kay Sheminsky, the chair of the Livonia Democratic Club. She turned that real red meat Livonia into blue Democrat. I mean, wave Democrat. They elected 4 or 5 women on the city council. It's incredible what they're doing. So last night, she has some health issues. She's resigning from being the chair of the Wayne County chair of the 12th Congressional District. She's resigning from the Livonia Democratic Club. We went out there. Everybody out there last night, when I walked in the door, this situation about the Black Caucus endorsing Jocelyn Benson, the first thing they said, we're not going for that. This ain't about just what the Black Caucus did. This affects all of us. We cannot accept somebody that's doing these types of things. So all of these black people are there that are suing Miss Benson. They lying? She telling the truth? Haven't we heard this before from Trump and everybody else? And we're sweeping things under the rug. The woman got paid $775,000. That ain't, you don't give somebody that kind of money unless you did something. So the question is, I come back to where I was saying what the Republicans did. They changed, even though Debbie Stabenow won, they recognized they not only saved face, but it was about their credibility.
Right.
We're endorsing somebody that I'm willing to bet you that they already knew this was coming. When this vote came out in terms of the Black Caucus and a lot of us that are on board, we didn't know. Like I said, I own what I did, but I didn't know all of this other stuff about the husband, about all of these other people.
You didn't know.
I didn't know.
You didn't know.
Right.
Right. But like you said, somebody knew.
But but what I'm talking about in the Democratic Party.
Right.
So the thing is, but now that we're here, I think we this is just me. We sit and had that conversation about pulling it back or whatever, because let me explain something to you. How many of us, and I'm gonna just use an example. You dating somebody and you find out the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is what you love, the bad is what you tolerate, the ugly is isolated incidents.
Okay.
But then you find out she was doing your daddy. She was doing your brother. She was doing the neighbor. Now, I'm just keeping it real, folks. See, we don't want to do that. We want me to talk nice. I don't have time for talk nice because my life is at stake here. This ain't about you. This is our lives here. Yeah. So the point is, if you know this and you know that she's doing this, why do you stay with her? We know all of this stuff is happening here. Why are we going to stay the course? Because somebody told you to go ahead and do this. Right. I'm not going down that road. So we need to have that conversation of why we endorsed her. We need to pull back our endorsements and our support, and we need to tell the Democratic Party, because let me tell you what the Democratic Party has said. We don't endorse in primaries. Well, my question is, then why are the rest of us endorsing?
Gentlemen, we got 5 minutes, about 5 minutes. Norm, I want you to come in. One thing I want to say is, we talk about the midterm elections coming up, and that's going to affect, like Joe said, it's not going to affect us federally, state, locally. So the midterm elections go, and hopefully we get the Democrats, back in control, where they can stop a lot of this nonsense. But what is the process to really stop? Because as you well see, just like the Clintons, they're coming after the Clintons because they didn't honor the subpoenas. Well, when Trump was in office, he didn't honor the subpoenas, but nobody's talking about that. So how do we really stop this so that, as Joe has stated, we are taken care of as far as state as well as local?
So how you take care of it is two things. One, Democratic chair, the leadership has to have a robust voter education, voter awareness, voter registration drive throughout the state. Because guess what? We have 3 people on the ballot instead of 2. You're not just going against Republicans. You have independents in there.
Right.
So the straight party ticket has to be the way. I'm preaching everybody straight party ticket. Keep everybody on the party ticket. The second thing is this. I have to push to keep the legislative, state legislature as well as flipping the House back. Talk about what's going on in the House, the mess that's going on in the state of Michigan. Right now, the state House, they have less working days ever than before. And so my job will be educating the people about, hey, straight party ticket. We got to get this. We got to get straight party ticket. Because guess what? I'm talking about impeachment. I'm not even talking about anything else, because guess what? Flipping the House is one thing. You need impeachment because you got to impeach the Secretary of Defense, or now Secretary of War. You also talk about the Secretary of State. You also about all these positions are affecting you, and also let's be honest,
Secretary of Homeland Security.
Yeah. And then also you also got to talk about far as term limits on this on the Supreme Court.
Hello,
okay,
gentlemen.
Yep, we got to talk about that.
We gonna take this break. We gonna take this break. I got to turn it back over to Darwin because this is too much for me. We gonna take this break and we gonna come on back.
Justice for Mario Willis. Truth. Facts. Evidence. Mattered. Log into justiceformariowillis.com. Read for yourself.
Clean up on aisle 5. Sounds like my life right now. Just one big mess.
What's going on?
It's my property taxes.
What?
I am behind, and I am so worried that I'm going to lose my house. I can pay some of it, but I can't pay it all at once.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm Eric Sabri, the Wayne County Treasurer. The last thing I want is for anyone to lose their property to tax foreclosure. We have assistance programs to help.
For more information, go to treasurer.waynecounty.com.
We're here to help.
Every Monday through Friday from 12 noon to 3 p.m., it's the Tavis Smiley Show on WHPR TV and Radio 15.2. Also seen on Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV, iPhone, and Android. That's the Tavis Smiley Show on WHPR TV and Radio. Download the WHPR TV app for iOS, Android, and Roku. The Tavis Smiley Show, distributed by R.J. Watkins Studios.
Block time is available. Get yours. Call 313-868-6612. That's 313-868-6612. Executive producer R.J. Watkins. Program director Henry Tyler. 107.5 FM. WGPR HD3. RadioWeCanSee.com.
All media platforms are engaged.
Copy.
Get ready to launch your show or product.
Periscope ready. We're 5x5 ready to launch. Copy that.
Trend worldwide across all major platforms.
Ignition. 3, 2, 1.
The world is waiting. Watkins Broadcasting. More than just TV.
Feel good about your future with tuition-free programs at Wayne County Community College District. Whether you want to be in healthcare, computer science, the culinary arts, digital media, or robotics and automation for the next generation of vehicles, WCCCD has you covered. A full range of programs to achieve your goals, fit your schedule, and give you all the support you need to be successful. All of it tuition-free. Now there's something to feel good about. Register today at wcccd.edu.
313watkins.com. Streaming on Roku.
Back, and we're on a special outing of the Truth to Power show. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin. And for all those women that probably tuned into the show when they looked and saw Roy McAllister Jr. up here in the hot seat, sitting in my seat, they probably like, oh, wow. Okay, so just like the last time Roy was on the show, all those women were texting me and probably calling in to say whether or not if he was single or not. So I just want to let all the women know, yes, he is married, happily married. I know that's usually the question a lot of people ask. Is he married, but is he happily married? Yes, Roy McAllister Jr. is happily married and has been happily married for many years. And because of the fact that I have Joe Person on the show with me as well, and I know that I have to give a shout out to his lovely wife, Sharon. So I'm going to let all of the women know that might be tuning in today, and they may look and see Joe Person. They may ask that same question, and I will say, and I'll let him say it for himself. I'll let him say it for himself. So go ahead, Joe.
I'm happily married. Love. Hey, let me keep this real. I love the ground, the earth, and everything about that woman. So don't waste your time with me, okay? I don't work for nobody but Sharon Person. Let me keep it real.
Well, I know the thing is that I do want to thank Sharon Person for allowing her husband of how many years?
Well, it's 11 years now.
Okay.
But we've been together 15.
Okay. Of all these years to be here on the show with us today on Truth to Power. And I would say, Erica, is there anything that you want to say in lieu of that? If you want to stay silent, you can stay silent. But I do want to thank, Roy McAllister Jr. for inviting Erica to get an opportunity to come and spend this time with us on Truth to Power today. So again, I do want to thank everybody, especially in lieu of how the weather's been for these last couple of days. So thank you again. And Joe, I'm glad that I didn't catch you while I know that you were yesterday. I know you would have been hard because I know you were fixing breakfast for Sharon and, doing the eggs and the bacon and the, and grits and whatever the case may be, right?
And I had the apron on and I was still, cooking,
But his apron said kiss the cook as opposed to kill the cook on that part.
That's
so, but Sharon, thank you for allowing Joe to have this opportunity to come on the show with us today. And again, Erica, thank you again. We want to thank Sheriff Washington for an opportunity to have some great staff to work with him, and and I really know that the Sheriff's Department with you and others there, Kevin Tolbert, his Chief of Staff, and others, is in very good hands.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you, and we appreciate you acknowledging the good work of our Sheriff's Department. We do what we can to make sure the people of Wayne County are taken care of well.
And as Joe was saying earlier today, he was talking about, Wayne County has a great Sheriff's Department, even though, like he said, they took Elvin Barrett from the police department and brought him up there to Southfield. But, one city's excellent police department personnel becomes Southfield's police department chief. So that was a great move to have him to come from Detroit to Southfield. And I see great things in the future for Chief Elvin Barrett.
And let me say this too. With all of the chaos and the confusion going on with ICE and the federal government, I never thought that right now, how we've had the problems in the black communities with the police, the shootings, and all of this over these years. Right now, the police are my allies.
That's correct.
The county sheriffs and them are my allies. When one stopped me in Oakland County, stopped me, I was so happy. I ain't never been happy when the police stopped me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But I felt comfortable that this wasn't ICE, somebody pulling up on me. And they were just talking about, you just turned the wrong way. That's the wrong street. Go this way, the way I'm going. Okay. It felt good to not, usually when you get stopped by the police as a black man, you get nervous, the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. But right now I'm feeling good with my local police, my local sheriffs. They are my friends more so than the federal government, when it was the federal government that was created to take care of black folks, because the local sheriffs, the local police and everything wouldn't take care of black people or people in general.
I think in more recent years, especially in our town, community policing and the effort around ensuring that making the police a part of the community as opposed to an opposition to the community has really changed things. Even during the I'm gonna say Rodney King, even during the civil unrest that we had recently, our police department has done a very good job at identifying leaders in the community so that their community policing efforts will allow for better relationships, and so that we don't have that same discourse between policing and our community, because they have done such a very good job in ensuring that there is some equity there and there's some respect of the community, and so people don't have to be afraid. You got to be diligent. You still have to be diligent because there's still bad apples, but there is across the board an attitude of respect for the police and for the community. So it makes our existence here in our community better.
And the other piece to that is in Southfield, we have the Police Advisory Board, which Mrs. Person and myself sit on, and they come and let us know what's happening. Like this Bloom situation happened at the restaurant. We will be getting a full report on everything from start to finish on the 24th, which is next week. We will be getting a full report in terms of what happened. So like I said, the police, this community policing is awesome. I just feel good that I feel safe around my police and my county sheriff, as opposed to I'm running to them instead of away from them. And that's a good feeling.
It is a good feeling. It's a major change. I mean, I wasn't around. What was it called? The Big Five, the Big Four. What was it called?
Big Four.
That was before my time. However, I've heard stories, and thankfully we've come a long way from that type of policing and that type of atmosphere in the communities where people were afraid, to engage, and they knew that when there was those police officers, when those folks were coming, that there was going to be trouble. So it's grateful. We're grateful that we've come such a long way, so that we don't have to worry about that.
But some of that was due to, the efforts that Mayor Coleman Young put in place to make certain that people were not in fear of the police, but to realize the police were only doing what they needed to do to keep people safe.
Sure.
In the community.
Yes.
And and back, we can go back in the days with the Malice Green and Butson and Nevers when they, had that situation that occurred. We look at what had happened back during the rebellion, back in '67, and there was a lot of things that needed to change.
Sure.
And there were people that were concerned about having the guardian angels that used to be patrolling the streets, back in the day, Curtis Slewa and some of the others that, Lisa Slewa, his wife, and they would have to wear the little red tams on their heads, and, but now we've got organizations like Detroit 300 and other, CVI groups that are really trying to do as best as they can to keep unrest in the communities, Joe.
And the funny thing about it, I know you talk about the Big Four and everything here in Detroit. Well, I'm born and raised in Washington, D.C. Same exact thing to keep control. Everything was about control. Our mayor came in, all of them came in at the same time. Marion Barry in Washington, D.C., the Honorable Coleman Alexander Young, Carl Stokes up there in Cleveland. I mean, we can go on and on and on. All of them came in. They were all part of that student nonviolent committee called SNCC back in the day. All of those guys got elected, and they started all of these programs. And it's a funny thing because Mayor Young shut down the Big Four in Washington, D.C., and it escapes me, and I'll think of it at 4 o'clock in the morning when I'm laying in bed. Same type of group. Marion Barry, when he came on, actually Carl Washington was appointed, but duly elected, not a puppet of the federal government. When Marion Barry got elected, that was the first thing that he shut down. Carl Stokes in Cleveland, that's the same thing he shut down. So it just feels good now that in 2026, I feel good that you and I could go out and hang out. I could go hang out. Like I said last night, I was hanging out with the chief of staff and the county sheriff last night, and I feel good when all of them around. It reminds me of the movie. I was in a fundraiser a few weeks ago, and I saw all of the county sheriffs, and it was in this movie that I saw where the guy came in and pulled his gun out, and said, this is a holdup. And there, I looked at all of these county sheriffs, and I was like, and all of us, because everybody packing now, it's like, okay, you feel safe, but you don't think about any of that now, because not only that, the way you ladies and gentlemen carry yourselves, when you speak to a sheriff or when you speak to a police officer, it's not no, hey boy, this, that, and other calling me out my name. It's sir, ma'am, can I help you?
But that's the thing, because it's just like what happened in, as I know, Erica, what happened in Romulus at that school, where the gentleman, was shooting outside the school.
Yes.
And, I guess they're still trying to find out whether or not if he was actually shooting at the school or shooting up in the air.
Yes.
But then that also brought a lot of concern when it comes down to mental illness.
Absolutely.
That people may go through.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things that the sheriffs, the police, and other law enforcement individuals have to really kind of make that discernment.
Correct.
When they see something occur like that, as to whether or not if they're going to go and pull a taser out or if they're going to shoot. And then in a lot of cases we talked, before about a lot of times when you talk about shooting, are you shooting to wound or are you shooting to kill someone?
Sure.
And that's another issue that we talk about, especially like when we were talking earlier about the active shooter training. And I know you mentioned that, and I know we've talked about that on shows in the past, about that my guest I had, Denise Harris, on the show last week was talking about the same thing, because that's what she's involved in up in the Pontiac area with the active shooter, shooter training. And Joe, as you're saying too, you want to be able to go to church and feel safe.
Yes.
You want to be able to go to, and your children go to school and be safe, at the same time. But in lieu of if something does happen, you still want to have everyone knowing what to do.
Yes.
And like that, the secretary, the administrative, person there at the school at Romulus, it was due to her quick thinking that averted what could have been a tragedy.
Sure.
And it also could have, also averted that gentleman losing his life.
Yes.
That, may have been, but they were able to get him to get on the ground, put his guns down, in lieu of, in past cases where we've seen actually people get shot.
Correct.
And then the concern is that the parent or loved one comes up and says something to that person and says, hey, he didn't take his medication or she didn't do, those kind of things. So there's a lot of things that can occur with something like that.
You bring up the mental health aspect, and we're talking about our upcoming elections and, the folks that are taking positions, and we need to really understand the position of our governor as we are going to be electing our governor, and how funding for mental health in our state, and as it trickles down to our city, our cities are looked at, because the sheriff likes to say all the time that the Wayne County Jail is the largest mental health facility in the state, because what happens is oftentimes those that are arrested, they have a criminal offense, but it is because of a mental illness, and there's nowhere for them to go. And so what has to happen is the law enforcement officials have to determine what to do with these individuals as they have performed a crime, but there is a mental issue component that has led them to do that. And so we really need to look at mental health funding and what we're doing around that as we move forward, because if we don't identify funding, if we don't lobby for funding from a federal government as it relates to mental illness, that we're going to be in the worst position, that we're going to have more of those individuals that show up outside of a school because they have mental illness. We have, we'll have more issues like that we'll have to deal with, and then our law enforcement agencies are forced to deal with them. And we're trained. Well, I'm not a sworn officer, but they're trained. But their training can only go so far. They can only do so much, and then they end up in jail. And now they're being medicated, and they're being taken care of as a mental illness patient, as opposed to being in the resident population for a criminal offense. Or dead, right? So, that gives us another conversation to bring to our legislators and our elected officials, because it's important that we are really looking at mental health in a 360-degree view, and figure out how we can avert some of these situations that occur, because oftentimes they are stemmed in in some type of mental health crisis.
And then the sad part about it too, and piggyback on what you just said, is that not only do you have the person who may either, as you said, Joe, could be killed, or then you have the person that may be hospitalized, or they could be placed in a correctional facility. Mm-hmm. But then that's also the wear and tear also on the families.
Correct.
Of that individual. If you shoot and kill that person, then that's the family that has to grieve over the loss of their loved one. And the same thing, that person, if they're incarcerated, same thing. Now that child who was the son or daughter of that person who was incarcerated, now they've got to go through their father or their mother, for that fact, that may be locked up. And then at the same time too, there's a lot of grieving that we all go through, for some. Even the police officer, even the police officer that shot and killed that person.
That's right.
It's still, just like you were saying about being comfortable around the police now, they have a life too.
Yes.
And if they shoot and kill somebody, the first thing they do, I was talking with Roy McAllister, you were talking on the show before, you have to go and you have to take that person's weapon.
Yeah.
And you have to also talk to that person to find out what's going on in their, in terms of saying their head as to what was happening that led up to that shooting, at the same time. But let me just, I know we don't have that much more time left, but let me ask you too. You mentioned about one of the things that the new governor would have to be aware of. Mm-hmm. What do either of you have any predictions for this upcoming race when it comes down to not just with the governor's race? I think it was mentioned too from Roy, and Roy, I want to thank you for for holding that ship so succinctly and so effortlessly, for that half an hour. But I do want to say this, that he had asked about the Attorney General spot, talk about the Secretary of State spot, talk about the Senate spots, some of the other. Any predictions? I mean, you don't have to say on every race, but any predictions of who you would like to see or who you're comfortable in terms of saying supporting? And I know I'm going to wait and let you, kind of think about that, and I'll go with Joe first, because Joe has receipts for some of the things that Joe did.
I do not like what's going on right now in terms of the governor's race. We need to have that discussion. Right now, I'm going to tell you what someone was talking to me the other day, and they said, Joe, I'm going to call it. He says, anybody asks you, you can tell them I said, you may get an independent in, you may get a Republican senator in, and you might get a Democrat in as a constellation prize for Secretary of State. And I told him, I said, why do you think that? He said, because the Democrats are in disarray and Republicans are going to trounce on any weakness that we have. And they're seeing the weakness. We're not dealing with the situation of this situation that's come up with the Secretary of State. We're not dealing with this situation that's coming up with the senators. And at the same token, the black people are the people that everybody's depending on to
save everybody and pull them through. But yet when it comes time for us to be at the table or for us to be the ones to be in power, all of a sudden we're not good enough. Now, I'm good enough to run your campaign. I'm good enough to raise money for you. I'm good enough to canvass for you, phone bank, knock doors, all of this kind of stuff. But I'm not good enough to run it. That's that same plantation mentality. And on another note, the cities that are trying to move forward, people keep saying, well, when black people run something, we can't get it straight. Case in point, when we had the other black mayors in Detroit, all of a sudden the city and all went bankrupt. What people fail to realize is that all of their money came from Lansing and the federal government. If I choose not to give you no money for your job, you got no other choice but to go bankrupt. Simple as that.
Well, and that's the thing too now, Joy, Erica, is that a lot of people ask that question, are we ready for? And then ... in terms, say, for a female president? Are we ready for a female mayor? Are we ready for a Muslim senator? There's a lot of things that are we ready for?
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Let me answer that question with a question. It's okay for us to have a white man as president. It's okay for us to have a white man as governor, for mayor and everything else. Why is it that whenever it comes to certain genders or black people, there's always this question? Example, when you hire people that don't look like us, all they have to do is come through the door. They're getting certified. We're the last hired, first fired. We always have a better education. We always work harder. We're the first ones a lot of times to get to work and the last ones to leave. But when it comes time to promote us, we can't get the promotion. So the question becomes, I'm just tired of, as I say, the question that I'm asking is, we're going back to in 2026, I think it was the Reverend Jesse Jackson said it, if not now, when? I'm tired of this when. It's time for us to have a black governor. It's time for us to have a go back to a black Secretary of State. It's time for us to put another black female on the state Supreme Court other than just one. We just finally got one in, 2-3 years ago. We finally got a black female on. I'm just tired of hearing this. Her boss is good enough to be county sheriff, but why can't he go from there and be the attorney general? Then it'll be a problem. It'll come out, well, I don't know. Excuse me, if he can keep law and order and take care of it at the county level, we just talking about him including 82 more counties? So we're gonna have these conversations. At the end of the day, Darwin and Erica, I just want some accountability and people bring us to the table, not as just a prop. I don't want to be a prop no more. I want to run it. I want to run it. Simple as that. I've earned the right. She's earned the right. The female mayor, Mary Sheffield, has earned the right. All of these other people, Garland Gilchrist has earned the right. Why?
Well, it's like back to the adage, if not me, then who?
Right.
Well, go ahead, Eric.
I just want to talk about politics. So I'm a local political person. I worked in the mayor's office for many administrations, and I know about on the ground local politics. But what I also know is, as Detroit goes, the state goes, the region goes, and Detroit does not look like it did 20 years ago. It don't look like it looked 5 years ago. So that means our politics can't be the same.
Right.
And so I want people, what I want to talk about is, I'm a Democrat. I'm all about partisan politics, but I'm also
and I hate to interrupt that, but I know that we've got to cut this segment short.
Okay.
And I want to ask you, Erica,
yes,
to come back on the show again to finish this conversation.
Okay.
Joe Person, I want to ask you to come back so we can finish this conversation.
I'll be back with her.
We've got another show that needs to come on after us,
All
but
right.
we've had a great show today. Enjoyed everybody that's been on, and I want to thank Roy McAllister Jr. I want to thank Alexis Ramsey. I want to thank Norman Clemens, and the main people that I want to thank too is I want to thank Henry Tyler, Tim Smith, Lorenzo Cox, R.J. Watkins, our president here. But at the same time too, the person that was missed was Maxine Willis, our general manager here at the station. And, we see the hospitality that we give here with Watkins Broadcasting here at WHPR. And we want to continue that. We want to invite people to definitely put us in your households, to watch, to listen, to learn, to be educated. And at the same time, too, we hope and pray that you will take this information that you have gotten and you will share it with others. So, as we wrap up, we just want to let everybody know that if there's something that we've said today that you might have learned something from, great. And we do want to get your feedback, as far as say to anyone that has seen or heard anything from any of the guests that we've had on Truth to Power today. And as we always want to make certain, we want to bring our power and we want to give it its truth. And that's what we do over and over again every Friday from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. And the one thing that I want everybody to realize too, we show commercials all the time for Justice for Mario Willis. And that's one of the things that we want to let everybody know. We are demanding the truth to come out. And this afternoon, I know we've got to go and we've got an evidentiary hearing for Mario Willis. We hope that you will keep Mario lifted up in your prayers. We hope that you will keep the family of Walter Harris lifted up in your thoughts and prayers, as well as other firefighters, law enforcement people, sheriffs, Detroit Police Department, and other departments throughout the entire country, as well as the world, because that's a brave job that they do, keeping our freedoms safe. We had situations that happened back 9/11, where there was a lot of people that lost lives during that time, from firefighters, law enforcement people, as well as others. So we want to let everybody know too that we are keeping everyone lifted up in our prayers. We're keeping the Willis family lifted up, the Harris family lifted up, the Daniels family lifted up. So again, this has been a very special edition of Truth to Power. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin, and without all these brave ladies and gentlemen that have been on the show with us today and other days, my heart goes out. I salute you, and I definitely want to invite you, as always, to please come back again for a very special edition of Truth to Power. Have a great and safe drive safely if you're out and about, because I know there's supposed to be some more snow coming down. So drive safely and have a great, safe, and peaceful weekend.